Alright, hi guys. My name is Savannah Fish and I'm doing the student teaching lesson on HTML semantic structures: header, footer, section, article, aside, nav, and div. So someone else was supposed to have HTML semantics, so I don't know if some of the stuff I'll be covering somebody else might have covered too. That might overlap a little bit, so forgive us if we do that. And yeah, let's get started here. So what is a semantic structure? Semantics, first of all, is the meaning of language. So semantic structures means that it has a defined meaning. This will make more sense in a minute. Some examples of semantic structures are form, table, article, and non-semantic structures are like divs and span. So semantic structures, you have stuff that has a definition. When you put a table in, that means that you're going to be putting a table. Non-semantic structures means it doesn't really have a specific definition. You can put divs pretty much over any section that you want to for doing CSS later. Headers and footers. The header will usually have 6 heading element options: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. And the smaller the number, the bigger the heading size. Logos and authorship info. The footer will also have the authorship info, copyright and contact info, all that good stuff. That's where you'll put your sitemap. I love sitemaps. Man, if I find a website that doesn't have a sitemap, I'm very upset. Especially if it's a bad website and you can't find anything. Then it really needs a sitemap. But I love sitemaps. And if you don't know what a sitemap is, it's just where you have all the links at the bottom of the web page just in lists, just for the whole website. It's awesome. And then that's where you put the back to the top link, also very useful. A header cannot be placed within another header, footer, or address. So you can't have headers inside of headers inside of headers. That would get really confusing, so don't do it. Sections and articles. So sections define a section within the document. And man, sections are so important because that's what keeps you organized. And you need to have your stuff organized, otherwise you're going to be all over the place and you're going to be a bad programmer, so don't do it. Sections are important. as well as all these other things too. They're important too. So articles are almost the same as sections, but they have to make sense if you remove the article from the rest of your website. It has to make sense by itself. So an article tag specifies independent, self-contained content, like a news story, blog, or forum post, stuff like that. Aside. An aside defines a section of the site that is just aside from the rest of the site content. However, it should be related to the surrounding content. So when I first saw that, I was thinking of maybe like if you're scrolling through a website and you see like an ad, but that is not so, because it has to be related to everything else on the page. It's just a separate little section. For example, you could use it on a sidebar of your website. Navigation and div. So the nav tag is only for major blocks of navigation links. So your navigation links that you have 1 or 2, you might not need a nav tag, but if you have like say 4 or 5 or more, then you need a nav tag just to keep things organized. And the div tag is just like a section tag, but more specifically it's used to group elements before formatting them with CSS. So I've done it before for another class where you have to, sometimes you can put sections and div tags alternating, which is a little confusing to do, but it works the same as a section tag. It's just so that you can, if you need some elements over on the right side and some over on the left side, that's when you'd use your div tag before you put in everything for CSS. So that's all I have for you guys. Pretty much it's really simple. Semantic elements isn't as scary as that word sounds. They're just meant to define the tags so that you are kept organized. Use them, keep organized, have fun. And over on the right side of the page here, I've included a little picture I thought was pretty helpful. You have your header, your navigation, your section, article, aside, and your footer. That's where everything goes, basically. And yeah, a couple things I wanted to point out as well. These are my sources. I've used a lot from w3schools.com. And that is an awesome site. And so is khanacademy.org, computer programming. I'm going to show you guys these, just in case. Just guessing, you guys probably know what these things are, because you're in this school, you're in this class. I'm guessing you had other classes before this that used both of these websites. But just in case, I wanted to show you guys these websites because they are so awesome. So here is w3schools.com. And I just learned today that you can totally have, or they have, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and SQL. I have that for one of my other classes. But there's so much information on here that is so useful. So if you haven't really taken a look at this website, you really should. And then another one that is super cool is Khan Academy, and you can go here, and if you are feeling like you just don't know what you're doing with HTML or any of that, go here and just practice, because it's good for practice and it will make you excited about doing programming and everything, and that's important, I think, because programming sometimes it can be kind of stressful and stuff like that, but really programming is supposed to be fun in my book. I really like to program, but sometimes I need to go back and get reacquainted and get myself excited about it again. So this is where I go to do that, and it's so much fun. And that's all I have for today. Good luck in the rest of your classes. Bye.